It was funny because they published an article that said I was there for like way longer.
Oh,
like before I was even like when I was still in high school. That'd been cool if I was at Snapchat when I was still in high school, because then I'd probably be a billionaire by now.
Yeah. So to the next question, like, what was your experience like there? What were they having you do, since they didn't have an internship program? Like, what were they having you do?
Yeah.
I know it was relatively at the like beginning, like not the kind of the beginning of Snapchat.
Yeah, it was pretty early. This was pretty early on in the company, still when they were at their initial headquarters in Venice. And yeah, my main interest was how's this company going to make money? Because at the time they weren't doing anything to monetize their platform.
Yeah.
So I was curious how they're going to do that. So I was doing a ton of research on like different brands that might be able to market on their platform. For instance, like, you know, brands that want to connect with millennials. So you have like Budweiser, everything from Budweiser to like pretty much any brand that wants to connect to the younger generation, which is everything. And that's why Snapchat's such a cool platform to market on, more now than it was then.
Yeah.
And you saw that come out with like the story, right? So people like interacting with it more and being like more connected. And
were you there when the story? Like,
I was there right when it came out. Yeah.
Because I was like, that was what put, I feel like, it on the map.
Yeah, and most people when it came out, they're like, "Oh, I don't like it." I was like, "You'll see."
Yeah.
Because before Snapchat was just sending direct messages to people.
Yeah. So this is our next question.
What was the reputation like of Snapchat then? Like from being from the inside, like you were an insider. Did you like like you were there before the whole story thing happened and before they like really like took off? So what would you do? Was there like some sort of reputation that they had, or like did not that many people know about them from what you?
It was interesting because this was before like all the big executive people came in and started hiring all those, so it was still very like startup vibes.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, I was like, like are these guys ever gonna plan on like they were planning on making money? Because the entire team was just software engineers, so they were just focusing on product, which is all you really need to do when you're in a growth stage like that. Make sure there's no bugs, you know, constantly updating the software. But yeah, that was kind of the vibe. And then that was also a vibe you got from other people. Like, they're like, oh, like, yeah, you don't think of Snapchat as a business that makes money. You think of it as a way to communicate with your friends. Mm-hmm. But now you're starting to see, like, different advertisements come up on it. And they're totally going to change the way mobile advertising works. Because right now, you look at, like, mobile ads, and they're kind of generating more, at least for media ads, are generating more, like, for YouTube videos and things like that. Where now they're going to be integrated for your phone like this. Right, and so Snapchat's actually, I believe they have a subsidiary company, or they just directly partnered with another company to make specific ads that will like fit your mobile phone like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of changing that as well.
What do you think about like Snapchat Discover and like how they're using it? They're trying to make it like almost like a news source.
I think Snapchat,
in addition to social media.
Yeah, Snapchat Discover is kind of weak, just for my personal use on it. That came out after I was there. I've tried using it a few times. I didn't really like it that much. And I know from some news I've been following that they're kind of like winding it down a little bit. That being said though, a really cool thing about Snapchat is just the way that they can target users, right? So you look at, like you can watch like the LA story, right?
Yeah.
And then you can have LA brands marketing on the LA story to people in LA, and you know you're marketing to like 15 to like, you know, early 30s, you know, late 20-year-olds, which is the perfect market and by far the most valuable group to be marketing to. And so, and if a brand wants to market in specific cities, it's actually like one of the best platforms to do so, because not only can you directly send them messages because you have the analytics of where people are, but you can also market on the direct city story. So like I was saying with LA, you can do that in pretty much any city around the world.
Yeah, and that kind of speaks also for like the whole geotag thing. That's another huge one. I feel like that like now, you know, people are paying to have their movie released, like the premiere, like TED 2 premiere.
Oh, yeah.
There's like a huge thing graphic on everyone's phones when they are scrolling through. So like that was another thing we said. Like we feel like the geotag is like a huge thing now, and it kind of like legit. Like before, it was just like personal stories, and now like now it like if you're at LMU, like you'll have an LMU geotag, so like it almost. And you can't get those geotags unless like you're in those specific areas. So it like proves that you're like at certain places or like you're doing something. And
yeah, and it
helps with like storytelling.
No, definitely, well, literally in some cases for the story, which is why it's such a great name for them to brand it that way. But the geotags are a great way for these brands to actually directly connect with the Snapchat users, right? So you can actually like integrate the geotag into like what you're doing right there. So yeah, really cool.
I think that's
I
it.
think that's good.
You got a shitload of stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, actually,